verses, chapter 1, text 40. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, text 40 of chapter 1, observing the armies. Adharma Bibhavat Krishna Pradushyanti Kula Striyaha Strishu Dushta Suvarshaneya Jayate Varna Shankara. Adharma Bibhavat Krishna Pradushyanti Kula Striyaha Strishu Dushta Suvarshaneya Jayate Varna Shankara. Adharma Bibhavat Krishna Pradushyanti Kula Striyaha Strishu Dushta Suvarshaneya Jayate Varna Shankara. Transliteration. Adharma, irreligion, abhibhavat, having become prominent. Krishna, O Krishna. Pradushyanti, become polluted. Kula striyaha, family ladies. Strishu, by the womanhood. Dastasu, being so polluted. Varshaneya, O descendant of Vrishni. Jayate, comes into being. Varna Shankara, unwanted progeny. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vishnu, comes unwanted progeny. I'll say that again. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vishnu, comes unwanted progeny. Commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The Varnashram religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to good population eligible for participating in the Varnashram system. On the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. So here Arjuna is arguing why he shouldn't fight the battle at Kurukshetra. He's saying that if I kill all these warriors, then the women will become polluted due to the lack of husbands to protect them, and as a result there will be unwanted population, Varna Shankara. So, of course, Krishna is ordering Arjuna, and Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Param Brahm, Param Dham, Papitram, Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adi Deva Majamvabhum. He is telling Arjuna that this is my desire. And he says that whether you engage in this war, this battle or not, he says, my desire will be fulfilled. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's his desire to vanquish the demoniac Kurus, Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra, and his 100 sons, and the other warriors. Paritranaya sadhanam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samspartanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. That Krishna, he appears in his human-like form, but he's the Supreme Lord. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha. Krishna's body is full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. It's although Ajopi San Avyadma, although he appears to be no ordinary human-like person, no, he's actually the Govindam Adipurusham, Lord Govinda, the original personality, as stated by Lord Brahma in the Brahma Samhita. So, whatever Krishna desires, Mare Krishna Rake Ke Rake Krishna Mare Ke. If Krishna wants you dead, no one can save you. And if Krishna wants you to live, no one can harm you. He says, Mahatmanas Tumam Partha Daivim Prakritim Ashritaha. That the great souls, the great devotees of the Lord are always under his Daivi Prakriti, under his protection, Ashritaha, under his shelter. And because they know him as the Supreme Lord and the inexhaustible personality of Godhead, the all-powerful personality of Godhead. So Krishna's desire, Arjuna has to surrender to it. As he says in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Mat Chita Sarva Durgani Mat Prasada Trishyasi Atache Tvam Ahankaram Na Shoshasi Vinangshasi. He says, you become conscious of me. And Sarva Durgani, I will remove all the Durgas, all your problems in your life. Mat Prasad, Sarva Durgani Mat Prasadat. By my mercy, all your problems will be dissolved. Ata Chet Tvam Ahankaram. If you act under the false ego, Ahankaram, na shoshasi, not hearing Bhagavad Gita properly, and surrendering to Krishna's orders and instructions, Nashoshasi Vinangshasi means you will be lost, you will be vanquished. So devotees of the Lord, because they take shelter of Lord Krishna, they're taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sarvadharman Prichaja Mamekam Sharanam Braja, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayashyami Ma Sucha. Because the devotees of the Lord are surrendered to Krishna. So here Arjuna, of course Arjuna has been put in a kind of illusion so that Krishna can preach Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, Arjuna and Krishna are Nara Narayan. They're the incarnation of Nara Narayan. And they appear millenniums after millenniums. In fact, Krishna appears once in a day of Brahma. So once in every 8,400,000,000 human years, Krishna appears in this planet. And he appears in Vrindavan. His appearance is all regulated and predicted in the Vedas. So Krishna appears in various millenniums, and he also nanavataram akarod bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat paramapumanyo govindam adipurusham tamahamajami ramadi murtishu kalani minatishtan. The Krishna has many avatars like Rama, Lord Rama, Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. He appears as Lord Ram in Treta Yuga many 800,000 years ago. He appeared as Krishna 5,000 years ago. He appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sridham, Navadvip, Mayapur 536 years ago. So the Lord appears, and he appears sometimes as in the form of a boar, like Lord Varaha appeared to kill Hiranyaksha, the brother of Hiranyakashipu. Ete chams kala pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. Yuge Yuge. Millennium after millennium, the Lord appears. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, the independent Supreme Personality of Godhead appears. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam to vanquish the enemies of the demigods. Indrari means the enemies of Lord Indra, the king of the demigods. So he appears to reestablish peace and dharma within society. Or without dharma, following the regulations and the rules and regulations of varnashrama dharma, there can be no peace and prosperity on the planet. In the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Adharmam dharmam itya manyate tamasa vritaha sarvacham vitaricham buddhi saparta tamasi. That people who are influenced by the mode of ignorance, in other words, the demoniac class of man, asuri bhavam ashritaha, they take shelter in demoniac mentality, demoniac natures, those demons, adharmam dharmam itya manyate tamasavitaha, they don't know, in fact, they think that what their religion is, that's actually irreligion. For example, they think that the whole goal of human life is meant to gratify their senses. Aneka chitta vibranta mohajala samavritaha. They think that to gratify their senses until the end of life is the prime necessity. Kama paboga, kama paboga means they're trying to enjoy their senses until the end of their lives. Chintamaparimeyam cha pralayantam upashitaha. Until the end of life, they want to enjoy their senses in an unregulated way, without any type of regulation, any kind of morals, ethics. Therefore, they're known here, it's mentioned, Varna Shankara, unwanted population, meant for the chaotic situation in human society as we see today because of the influence of the age of Kali. People, they're not interested in religion. Pravritim cha, nivritim cha, janana, vidur asura. Demoniac people, they don't know what is to be avoided, pravritim, and nivritim, and what is to be embraced and accepted. The regulated practices of dharma. Therefore, in this age that we live in, most people are Varna Shankara. For example, here Prabhupada is mentioning that women are very prone to degradation. So women are meant to be protected by their father in their youth, in their young age until they're married. Then they're protected by husband, and then they are protected by the sons in old age. Chanakya Pandit himself says, never trust a politician or a woman. Chanakya Pandit also states in the Nitis, in his Atharva Veda Nitis, he states that Kokilanam Swarorupam Strinam Rupam Pativratam. This means Strinam Rupam Pativratam means that the beauty of a woman is her faithfulness to her husband. Kokilanam Swarorupam, the beauty of a cuckoo or bird is in his song notes. Vidyarupam Kurupanam, the beauty of an ugly man is in his learning, vidya. And Shamarupam Tapasvinam, and the beauty of a great ascetic or a great yogi is in his shama, in his forgiveness. So here, Chanakya Pandit is saying, Strinam Rupam Pativratam, that the beauty of a woman is in her pativratam, her faithfulness to her husband. So the husband, of course, has to be an upholder of the principles of Dharma, as stated in the Bhagavad Purana. There are four legs of Dharma, just like the bull. Dharma, the bull, his four legs are austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. And truthfulness is supported by the abstinence from gambling. Austerity is protected by abstaining from intoxication. Cleanliness is upheld by abstaining from illicit sex life. And mercifulness or compassion or karunya is upheld by only avoiding killing of animals, or ahimsa paradharma. Ahimsa means non-violence, by upholding non-violence or the consumption of the flesh of creatures or fish, none of this. So there's no meat eating, fish or eggs, no illicit sex or extramarital sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. These are the four principles that are meant to be upheld by one who is following Dharma. Of course, it is also in Kali Yuga, what is the yajna? As Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, yajna dhanam tapa karma natyajam karyameva tat. Yajna dharma pavanani manishinam. Yajna dhanam tapa chaiva pavanani manishinam. That there's three things we must embrace in life: yajna, sacrifice; dhanam, charity; and tapasya, austerity. Austerity means to deny too much material sense gratification, to practice simplicity in one's behavior, to avoid luxurious life, and to accept things that may be difficult for the body but may be very conducive to making spiritual advancement. So for the devotees of the Lord, we only eat foodstuffs offered to Lord Krishna. Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhakta prayachati. Krishna says, offer me with devotion leaf, flower, fruits, or water, and I will accept it. So we live in a very simple way. Arjava means simple. So yajna means to perform sacrifice. And in Kali Yuga it says, Kali Kalir Dharma Harinam Sankirtan. That in the age of Kali, the chanting of the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This mantra is given and is mentioned also in the Narada Purana, that in this age of Kali, Kali Kalir Namarupa Krishna avatar, the Krishna has descended in the form of his holy name. And Lord Krishna says also in the Bhagavad Gita, Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha mam dridavrataha, that my devotees namasyantas chamam nitya ukta upasate, that my devotees are always chanting my glories. Matchita madgata prana bodhayantas parasparam. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They're always deriving pleasure and happiness from engaging together in the chanting of the glories of the Lord. So this is very, very purifying. This is the yajna of the age. Cheto darpanam arjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. That by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one's heart becomes free from all unwanted desires. Material desires will be pushed out of the heart. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andakar means that Lord Krishna's name is like the sun, Surya, and it dissipates the darkness within one's heart. Yan Krishna Tahan Mayam Adhikar. That this holy name of the Lord will purify the heart, just like the rising of the sun sends away the thieves and negative elements that are present in the night of Kali Yuga, in the darkness of Kali Yuga. So Arjuna is arguing with Krishna here in this first chapter, and he's arguing from a point of view of social sciences or social perspective, that the women will become widows, they won't be protected, and then there'll be unwanted population. But Krishna wants that these demoniac elements in society are vanquished. So we know that Duryodhana, the son of Dhritarashtra, he did not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, he didn't even care much about God or religion. He's godless. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says in the 16th chapter here, what are the qualities of a person of demoniac nature? It says, idam adyamaya labdam imam prapshe manoratam. Idam asidam apime bhavishyati punardanam. Today I have so much wealth, and I will acquire more according to my schemes. Asomaya hata shatrur. I am very powerful. Ishvaraham aham bhogi. I'm the supreme, I'm the enjoyer. Ishvara, I'm the supreme controller. Aham bhogi, I'm the supreme enjoyer. Siddhoham, I'm perfect. I'm perfect. Siddhoham. Ishvaraham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. I'm very strong and I am very, very happy. So the foolish person like Duryodhana in the Mahabharata, he is thinking like this, that I have so many 11 Akshohini divisions, the Pandavas only have 7, and Krishna is not even going to fight in this war. He's just going to be the Partsarthi of Arjuna, the Sarthi, the chariot driver of Arjuna. I have grandfather Bhishmadev, I have Dronacharya, I have Karna, I have all these great warriors on my side. So this is how the demon thinks, that he has so much power. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam srimad urdvitam evacha tatat eva bhagachatvam mamote jamsha sambhava. He says that no, that all these great universes and all these great demigods and all these great creatures within these millions of planets are nothing but a spark of my splendor. So Krishna is inconceivably powerful. Sarvasya Shaktir Vividhaya Vashriyate Swabhavaki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. The Lord Krishna has unlimited Shaktis. He's in Achinta Guna. He has inconceivable qualities, and he's Achyuta, infallible. No one can conquer the Lord. The Lord himself conquers everyone in the form of time. He says, Kalosmi Bhartarshava. Kalo means time, and by time he destroys everyone's life. So this is what the Kauravas are up against, and Krishna wants to use Arjuna as the instrument, his devotee. He wants his devotee to have the glories. He wants Arjuna to reap the glories of victory along with his 4 brothers, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Nakula, and Sahadev. So this war is going to take place, and all these demoniac kings will be vanquished by Krishna's arrangement. And we simply have to be an instrument. He calls Arjuna Savyasachin, which means an instrument in the plan of the Lord. So we want to surrender our mind, our intelligence, our words, everything in the service of the Lord, and then the Lord becomes our protector. He becomes our friend. He says, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. He tells Arjuna, you're my devotee and you are my friend. Yomam pasiti sarvasya sarva chamai pashyati. says, one who sees me in everything and everything in me, Sachame na pranasya, he's never lost to me, nor am I ever lost to him. This is Krishna's promise to his devotees. Chipram bhavati dharmatya shashram chantim negachati kontiya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. He tells Arjuna, declare it boldly, Arjuna, that my devotee never is vanquished. My devotee is always under my protection. So Arjuna just has to have the faith in the Lord here that whatever the plan is, Krishna will carry it out, and Krishna will the righteousness will prevail. Dharma will prevail. Simply surrendering to the Lord is the idea. Krishna says, Manmana bhava mad bhakto. Always think of me and become my devotee. Madhyaji mam namaskuru. Always worship me and offer your obeisances to me. Mame vaishasi satyam te pratijani priyo sime. When you do these things, you will become very, very dear to me. Pratijani, priyo. Priyo means very dear to Krishna. So we want to become very dear to the Lord and walking the light of Krishna consciousness. So, yes, in this age we live in, Kali Yuga, most people are Varna Shankara, are called hippies. Pravitim cha nivritim cha janana vidur asura no socham napi chacharo natesha shanti vidyate. That pravitim cha nivritim cha, they really don't know what is good for them and what is not good for them. Nate vidu swarta gatimi vishnum. They don't know that the whole purpose in human life is to serve Lord Vishnu or God or Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Nate vidu, they don't know. So artagatim, that their real self-interest is Vishnu. Durashaye bahir artamanina. Why? Because they're always thinking about bahir arta, the external requirements, external acquisitions. The whole ethos of modern society is acquisition and egoism. The more I have, so much I have today, and I will give more according to my plans. Idam adya maya labdam imam prapshe manoratam. Today I have so much money, but tomorrow I'll gain more money. Hanishe chaparamapi. This person is my enemy, so I should get rid of him. Hasomaya hata shatru. Shatru, he's my enemy, and I have to get rid of him. He's my competition. In this way, I will enjoy yakshe dashyami modishe. I will perform yagyas and give in charity yakshe dasyami modisha iti agyana vimohitaha. In this way, the Varna Shankara or godless people are bewildered by Krishna's energy. We know that even if people say, oh, I believe in God, yeah, but do you follow the instructions of God? Like Ravana, he was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva himself, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, is the greatest devotee of Lord Vishnu. Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. So Ravana was worshipping for material benefits. He was demonic, he's a Rakshasha. And he tried to steal Sita, the goddess of fortune. So nowadays, the Ravan type men are trying to get simply wealth, which is Lakshmi. Lakshmi is known as Chanchala. Without her husband, Lord Narayan, she moves around. Sometimes you're rich, sometimes you're poor, sometimes the nation is powerful, and sometimes it crashes. Like the various empires, British Empire, Roman Empire, Genghis Khan Empire, they come and go, Because matir na Krishna paratasatova midopi padyeta grihavatanam adanta gobir vishatam tamishram puna puna charvita charvananam. Prahlad Maharaj tells his father Hiranyakashipu that you can never become self-realized. You can never understand God. Why? Grihavratanam. You've taken a vow to enjoy this material life. Grihavrata means you're simply trying to enjoy, simply trying to enjoy the material way of life, your wife, your children, your society. This is my society, my wife, my property, my house, like this. So Prahlad is telling Hiranyakashipu, Matir na Krishna paratatvatova. You can never understand Krishna. Mito bipadyeta grihavratanam. Why? Because you're always thinking how to enjoy the material world, how to enjoy this temporary life, this temporary body. Adanta gobir vishatam tamishram. Your uncontrolled senses are driving you into darkness. Vishatam tamishram. Tamishram means ignorance. Puna charvita charvananam. And you just take birth after birth in this world of birth and death. Your soul is simply traversing through millions of species of life, trying to enjoy the senses. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita recommends to control the senses. Titikshava kurunika surida savadehina majata shatra shanta sadava sadabhushanam. That a devotee of the Lord, he performs tapasya. Rishabhadev tells his sons, Nayam deho deha bhajamri loke kastan kaman arhate vidbhujamye. One should not pursue the pleasures which are available to those animals which eat stool. The pigs. Don't be an animal. Simply today's society, people are simply pursuing animal life. Simply eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They think that's the goal of their life. Ahara nidra bhaya maitunya. These four things: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And they don't care about self-realization. They don't care about the soul. So here in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will start talking about the soul, which is what is the primal mover within the body. That the body, dehino svinyata dehe komaram yovanam jara yata dehantaras praptir dhirastat namoyati. That the really self-realized person, the dhiras, they understand that the soul is the real identity within the body. Dehina means the body, and the body is being forced by time to travel through komaram yovanam jara, childhood, youth, and then old age. And then yata dehantara praptir, the time at old age one dies. One leaves the body and he's forced to take another birth depending on how he lives in this life. If one doesn't follow the Shastras, ashradana purusha shamshayatma vinashyati. Krishna tells Arjuna, those who have no faith in the Shastra, ashradana purusha shamshayatma vinashyati. Nayam lokos tina paro. He can never be happy in this life, and he will simply mittu samsara vartmani. He'll be cast down again and again into the cycles of birth and death. This is Krishna's warning to those who wish to simply yashastravidim utrija vartate kamakarata, simply to discard the rules and regulations and the instructions of Shastra. Shastra means to enforce, or instructions for the benefit of human beings. Vartate kamakarta, one whimsically breaks the rules and regulations of Scripture. Na sa sridham avapnoti, he can never attain perfection in this life. Na sukham, na param gatim, he can never be happy. Na sukham, na param gatim means he cannot go to the ultimate goal of life, which is going back to the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual world, where Krishna is living, where there is absolutely no misery whatsoever. Vaikunta. Kunta means misery, and Vai means none or not. So in the spiritual world, there's simply dancing, chanting. You can hear Lord Krishna's flute. Time is conspicuous by its absence. Time is conspicuous by its absence. And walking is dancing, and talking is singing. There's no more death there. Abrahma Bhuvana Loka, that from the lowest planet to the highest planet, Brahmaloka, all are places of misery where repeated birth and death take place. But one who surrenders to Krishna, Punar Janma Navidyate, he doesn't take another birth again. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shucha Vatantiye. Tad Te Brahma Tad Vidu Krishna. This means that one who becomes free, Jara Marana Mokshaya, becomes free from old age and death, is one who takes shelter of Lord Krishna. Mam Ashritya Vatantiye, one who takes shelter of Lord Krishna, he becomes free from the cycle of birth and death. So that is the purpose of life, to go back to the spiritual world, and even in this life, to always serve Krishna in pure devotional service. That is the goal of the human form of life. So we have 7:41 now, and we can open up for, you can text a question if you like, or a comment, and we can discuss these things. Viewers, Ananta Gaurangadas. So how do I know who's on? Okay. So what, should I put ad there? Atul Mehta, like do I add or what?
I'm not adding anyone now. We're just talking.
I'm not getting any questions or anything.
I don't have any comment about hippies being called Varnasankara.
Where is the comments? I can't find it.
Swipe.
It says tag friends. Hare Krishna, Ananta Gauranga Prabhu. Hippies are being called Varna Shankara. Prabhupada mentions that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto. He mentions that hippies are Varna Shankara. It's 7th canto, chapter 11, 7th canto, chapter 11, text number 28, where it's stated that about chaste wife. Strinam rupa pativratam, the chaste wife, or also known as ratna strinam, which means the diamond-like or jewel-like wife. So in here, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes that the hippies who don't follow any rules and regulations, who have no real moral conduct, that they are considered as Varna Shankara. They simply are involved in trying to enjoy the senses and without any kind of restrictions whatsoever, as we see in our society today. They're called hippies, Varna Shankara. Human life is meant, we know, for tapo divyam putrakayena sadvam sudyadyatmat brahma sukam twanantam. Tapo divyam, the one performs austerities, accepts things that may be a little bit uncomfortable. Yattat agre vishameva pariname mitopamam. Krishna tells Arjuna that in the beginning, austerities may taste like poison. Yatat agre vishameva pariname mitopamam. But after some time, it becomes like nectar. Just like when one person has jaundice, it's described that they can't taste the sweet nectar of sugar. But by taking the sugar, the jaundice is cured, and then one tastes the sweet nectar of devotional service. So, pariname mritopamam, tatsukam satvikam smritam, atmabhava prasadajam. That in the mode of goodness, happiness in the mode of goodness is that transcendental devotional service, which is subsequent to one's practicing tapasya. So Govinda Vallabha asks, how can we be positive about material life as devotees so we don't get into immature, negative vision of life? Actually, Prabhupada says the devotee should have a healthy disdain for materialistic activities. Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam tayaya aparita chetasam. Vyasayatamika buddhi samado navidiyate. Krishna tells Arjuna in the second chapter that bhoga, material sense gratification, and aishvarya, material wealth, these two things are actually obstacles on the path of devotional service. As Rupa Goswami says in the Upadeshamrita, Atyahara Prayashascha Prajalpaniyamagraha Jana Sangas Chaloliam Cha Sadvir Bhaktir Vinashyati. That overeating, over-collecting, speaking mundane topics, not following the rules and regulations of scripture, or following without the intent of making spiritual advancement, associating with materialistic people. Materialistic people are simply fond of sense gratification and material acquisitions. Asat sangya tyag e vaishnavachara. Devotee avoids the association of materialistic people. I have a question. Sometimes we can see devotees have more faith in science or astrology than Shastra Srila Prabhupada. Then this relevant quote, Mare Krishna Rakeke, Rake Krishna Mareke. Devotee can use science in the service of the Lord, like Prabhupada said. Prabhupada said that anasakta savishya yatarham upijunjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe. We can use everything in the service of the Lord, like millions of dollars for spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. We can use modern technology, computers, jets, airplanes, cars, everything, in order to serve the Lord. As far as astrology goes, Srila Prabhupada didn't really put a lot of emphasis on it. He actually said that when we clap our hands before the deities, our destiny is or whatever karma we had will be dissipated simply by clapping and chanting before the deity of the Lord. So Prabhupada put more stress in Chetasa Sarvakarmani, Mayi Sanyasya Matpara, always thinking of Krishna, always taking shelter of Krishna, like that. So that was Prabhupada's emphasis, that is Lord Chaitanya's emphasis also. If we want to help people with marriages or conception of children and so on, and trying to find the quality of the child. Of course, the astrologer, when he saw Prabhupada's chart, he said that this person will build a house in which the whole world can live. And that Srila Prabhupada will establish 108 temples in his older age, in his senior years, which he did. So yes, the astrologers have a validity themselves, but our goal is Prema Pumarta Mahan, how to love Krishna. And then Krishna will change the lines in your hand. Prabhupada said, Krishna can change the lines in the palm of your hand. And we know that tate nukampam shusamikshamano bhujane vatmakritam vipakam rigvag vapubir vidadam namaste jiveti yomukti pade sadayabak. That even if a devotee feels or is confronted with great challenges and obstacles and reverse conditions, just like the Pandavas, the Kauravas tried to kill them, poison them, burn the house down, shellac the house of shellac, burn it to the ground. Then they stole the wife of the Pandavas, Draupadi. Then they cheated the Pandavas out of their kingdom. And Queen Kunti prays, let these calamities come again and again. Vipadaya Shantutashashvat. Let them come again and again so that I can see you again and again, see Lord Krishna. The devotee actually prays for calamities because then he has to really hunker down and remember the Lord. So, he's trying every day on a daily basis how to remember Lord Krishna, how to become more and more involved internally with the Krishna and his holy name, how to really relish the Lord in his holy name. So at the time of death, antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram, that we actually try to remember God at the time of death, and therefore never take another horrible birth in this horrible material world. So devotees should focus on their sadhana bhakti and so on. So another question here. Oh, just a comment. Thanks for the class. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. People tend to take all sorts of theories and extract that which suits them at the moment. Are we talking about devotees or Shastra? Is anything written by anyone with a man bun these days? Okay, we should never misconstrue the teachings of the great acharyas. Tat karma pravartana. We should follow in the footsteps of the great acharyas. Mahajana yena kata sapanta. Follow in the footsteps of the great acharyas. In no way, shape, or form should we ever make some deviation or interpretation of what the spiritual master's directions are. Like when Srila Prabhupada came to America, he introduced and innovated. He introduced many implementations that, in order to spread the movement. For example, women traditionally were not given Brahmin initiation. Prabhupada gave Brahmin initiation. Why? Because he saw the natural psychology of Westerners. It's very different from, say, traditional Indian Moors and so on. So when Prabhupada institutes something, we follow it. Prabhupada did say that there will be many initiating gurus in the future. He didn't say that he's the only guru forever. He never said that. In fact, in the Upadeshamrita, it says that Vachavegam Manasakrodavegam, one can accept initiation from one who is in control of the 6 pushings he's qualified to accept disciples throughout the world. So in the purport there, Prabhupada says even a Kanishta Adhikari may accept disciples, although they may not make a lot of advancement. So Prabhupada instituted many things, and by his actions he teaches, yad yad achariti shrestas, he's teaching by his example. So when he instituted Brahmin initiation for women, or Bhaktisiddhanta instituted that any person from any caste, even from a dog-eater family, ahobato swapacho tagariyan yajrivirge vartate namatubhyan tipus tipus te juhuvu shashnarya brahmanuchu nama grinanti yete, that even a person born in the family of dog-eaters can be qualified as a Brahmin if he becomes a servant of the great devotees of the Lord. He becomes more qualified than even one born in the Brahmin caste. So this is revolutionary against the mundane Varna ashram system, just the mundane Varnashram system. It's not by birth, but it's by qualities and service rendered. So Prabhupada accepted, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur accepted into initiation in the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya anyone and everyone. Kibinyasi Kibinyasi Sudra Kene Noi Ye Krishna Tattva Veti Se Guru Hoy. Kibinyasi Sudra Kene Noi Ye Krishna Tattva Veti Se Guru Hoy. You can be a guru even if you're born Sudra family. Ramananda Roy was considered born in a Kayasta family, which is considered Sudra. Haridas Thakur was born in a family of Muslims, which are considered Malechas and Yavanas, and he's a Namacharya. So if we think that we can change Prabhupada's programs by deviating and saying that sorry, I got a message here, that, women should not be initiated as Brahmins. That is a deviation from Srila Prabhupada's directions. We know, in other words, we may think we know more than Srila Prabhupada, and that is an offense to this great Acharya. So we should be careful and see how Prabhupada is implementing Krishna consciousness throughout the world to recruit and introduce all classes of people into devotional service. So sadhana bhakti begins with the Brahma Muhurta. Utistu tishtu, wake up early. Jeev jago, Gora Chandra bole. Sadhana bhakti means following very strictly the rules and regulations, rising early, attending Mangalarti, chanting good attentive rounds, 16 rounds minimum a day, practicing strictly the 4 regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, engaging in service to the spiritual master, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Bananam Dasyam, Sakyamatmani Vedanam. The 9 processes of devotional service. The spiritual master is giving us so many ways to serve his mission. And of course, he emphasizes preaching through the agent of his books, through the means of his books, his teachings, because that will change a person's heart. The Bhagavad Purana, the Bhagavad Gita, these books are written by Krishna, Prabhupada said. So that is sadhana bhakti, that we first of all become strong in our Krishna consciousness by practicing the morning program and chanting regular, very good rounds, and studying scripture, swadhyaya, study of scripture, arjavam, remaining simple, following the guidelines of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan in their books, Nectar of Devotion and Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction. Reading Srila Prabhupada's books every day, Daily reading of Prabhupada's books. Krishna book is a summary study of the 10th canto. Nectar of Devotion is a summary study of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rupa Goswami. Bhagavad Gita, the fundamental instructions of Lord Krishna to Arjuna. And Srimad Bhagavad Purana, the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge. Nigama kalpatarur kalitam phalam. The ripened fruit of all the Vedas is Srimad Bhagavad Purana. It deals specifically with the personality of Godhead, with devotional service to the personality of Godhead, and other topics such as the creation of the universe, time, karma, etc., etc. 10 different themes are there. So also we do these things in the assembly of devotees. We want to associate and chant with the devotees, Tushyanti cha ramanti cha, always enlightening each other in devotional service, always sharing Krishna consciousness in the association of devotees. That is a very important element of Krishna consciousness. So that is my answer to the questions, sadhana and bhakti. Sadhana is part of bhakti. And bhakti means devotion to the Lord. Of course, bhakti in its pure sense is when we're free from all material desires. Although Krishna accepts through the spiritual master our attempts to serve him, we want to anartha nivriti, we want to get rid of all material contaminations within the heart. Adoshada tata sadhu sangha tata tata bhajana kriya sat tato nishta tata anartha nivriti sat tata nishta tata ruchi. So there's different stages in devotional service. It begins with shrad, or faith. Faith that we are eternal servants of Lord Krishna. And from there we associate with devotees, bhajana kriya, and chant along with devotees, avoid the association of non-devotees, and taking shelter and hearing from the great devotees, the great acharyas' teachings. In this way, gradually by Shravanam Kirtanam, we purify the heart of sinful desires, and we eventually take initiation from the bona fide spiritual master. From there we continue on and become more spontaneous in our devotional service. In sadhana bhakti, there's Vedi bhakti, and then there's raga bhakti. Raga bhakti means more spontaneous service to the Lord. The Lord says, Tasmat sarvashu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. While doing your service to me, you should always remember me. So we always want to think of the Lord and engage in all our senses in the service of the Lord 24 hours a day. So that is sadhana, and which leads to pure bhakti yoga or prema bhakti. Prema bhakti, as Krishna says, bhaktistu ananyaya shakya in the 11th chapter Bhagavad Gita. Ananyaya means without fruitive desires or mental speculation. Sometimes we're doing bhakti, but there's the influence of speculation. What does the spiritual master mean when he said this? So we speculate about what the acharyas have said. This is called jnana bhakti, or thinking I know so much. When the spiritual master says, he shows us a snake, and he says, pick it up, it's just a rope. We have to have that kind of faith that we pick up the snake because the spiritual master has ordered us to do it. He's saying it's a rope, but we see it's a snake. So that kind of faith has to be there. We don't speculate, Prabhupada, maybe he meant this, maybe he meant that. No. The acharyas, they can see far beyond our vision. And when they give us an instruction, we follow it with great faith and determination. Thank you for attending, Govinda Balaba. If there's no more questions, it's been an hour. Param Brahm, Atul Mehta. You're welcome. Shashwata Sen Gupta, Atul Mehta. I hope you got something out of that. Manoharini Devi Dasi. Someone is devotional for many years and then they develop dementia and start eating meat. Will Krishna carry what they lack and preserve what they have? Neho vikramanasosti prativada navidyate swalpamapyat madharmasya chayate mahato bhayat. Krishna promises in the second chapter that whatever you've done for him is eternally placed in your spiritual bank account. It's eternally deposited there. It'll never be lost. There's no loss or diminution on this path. And a little bit of service will save you from the greatest of all fears, which is to take birth in the animal kingdom. So if a person is going on in service and somehow because of dementia they start eating meat, is a question here by Manoharini. There is some karmic reaction for the consumption of the flesh of slaughtered animals, because Krishna says, Ahimsa satyama krodha tyaga shantira poishanam. He tells us all the qualities in the Bhagavad Gita that are required. One of it is ahimsa, non-violence. If someone is doing something unknowingly or unintentionally, then of course that is not as severe or critical as someone who intentionally thinks, I'm going to eat meat. Eating meat is what we're supposed to be doing. We should be killing the animals. That's what we are. We're, survival of the fittest, blah, 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 atheism. So there's different levels of the karmic reaction depending on how spiritual you are. Of course, we know that Bhimasena ate meat. We know that Garuda is a meat eater, the bird carrier of Krishna. And the Kshatriyas like Bhimasena, he was a voracious eater and a performer of Herculean tasks. However, Prabhupada also said to Ramaswar in a train when they were traveling in India, he said that in Sridham Mayapur we'll build a large city, and those who are addicted to meat eating, they can kill their own source of meat, but they cannot eat slaughtered meat. And we will have a place for them also. And those who are addicted to intoxication, we'll have a place for them also. So Srila Prabhupada is very broad in his vision for Krishna consciousness. The problem is this slaughterhouse civilization. The people are going to the slaughterhouse, taking so many animals, cows especially, to the slaughterhouse. Is extremely karmic reaction and it's a collective karmic reaction. The whole society will suffer when there's this slaughtering, especially of the cow. So that should be considered. So if one wants to eat meat, they should take the trouble to kill the animal themselves, and they should never kill a cow. Chicken or goat, perhaps, something like this. There are concessions in various Puranas for the eating, consumption of meat. Mamsaha. Mamsa means meat. It also means I eat you, you eat me. Mamsaha, me and he. He'll eat me because now I'm eating he. Mamsaha, mamsa, meat.
So in this case, the devotee is asking that the the devotee in question has developed dementia.
Dementia.
So it's not possible for them to take their own animal. So if this devotee is close, perhaps they can give them as much prasadam as possible.
We try to purify everyone by distributing prasadam, which is very powerful and very purifying, and help all our associates and our social circles to at least give up the consumption or practice of 4 irreligious activities, meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. We simply want to try and encourage people. We don't condemn people, but we encourage them. Oh, I see. It's so you simply try to encourage, and at least try to avoid Manoharini. Try to avoid the consumption of course, mother cow. Fish is probably the least of the offenses to be committed. Consumption of fish, and the fish can be prayed for. The soul of the fish can be prayed for, as the Native Americans and the Aboriginal peoples of the West, the First Nations, they have an altar, and so they ask the fish that its soul may be blessed, and they have some gratitude. So Govinda Valba has given me some references to Prabhupada's references to astrology and its relevance for devotees. So yeah, there is some place for astrology for sure. When marriage is being arranged, Prabhupada definitely says that the psychology, etc., is looked into by astrologers to see compatibility and so on. The astrologer also, at the time of birth, did a reading of Srila Prabhupada's future at his birth. So, not to discount astrology, it's also a valid science. However, Prabhupada also made comments that, Krishna consciousness and transcendence is also there in devotees. So, my experience is many devotees I know, Prabhupada disciples, got very much involved in astrology, and their sadhana became, to a very large extent, neglected because they got so involved, their rounds suffered. So if we're going to be involved in astrology, we should never, in the name of astrology, sacrifice our sadhana bhakti, our service to the Lord, our chanting of the holy names, our vows in practicing of devotional service to the Lord. Astrology is dealing with the Jyoti Shastris, is dealing with the material body, the parents that have conceived this child, the person's birth in a particular womb, karmana daiva nature. So those material things, actually, when one surrenders to Krishna, things do change. As Krishna says, aham tvam sarva papebhyo, I absorb all your sinful reactions. I mean, astrologically, is a person born in a meat-eating family that eats cows all his life and commits sinful activities, and then goes to an astrologer. But if he takes shelter of Krishna, in Krishna consciousness, of course, Krishna says, I take away all that bad karma you had, the karma of consuming hamburgers. Inside of a hamburger in America or Canada or the West there, when they eat hamburgers, there's usually so many parts coming from slaughterhouse.
Your Wi-Fi is off?
Oh, no. It's very important to know that Krishna is the ultimate remover of all bad karma, but it's still very important for us to for our children's future to look at compatibility through astrology, etc. But not to become so consumed by it that we forget to, practice transcendental devotional service, which transcends the material body and mind. That would be my conclusion on that particular topic by Govinda Vallabha Devi Dasi. And she has some references here: Srimad Bhagavatam 3:21:15, 3:24:15, and 10:8:5. We can look at those after the discussions. Who's AJ Dillon? Sounds familiar. Hare Krishna, AJ Dillon. So 8:15. I think we're about to close this session. Yeah. It is time to close the session. And Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. And next Sunday morning, we'll do another one. We will send out notifications and heads up to remind everyone to participate in the Bhagavad Gita class. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.